WJOL.
So welcome in the morning after 9. It's time for Money Talks. It's brought to you by NuMark Credit Union. Today, unclaimed state property. You might have something of value sitting in a vault somewhere down in Springfield. More on that coming up in a couple of moments. But again, today's program brought to you by NuMark Credit Union. Their Family Favorites Cookbook will be here just in time for the holidays. This amazing cookbook is filled with about 800 recipes, including mason jar omelets, cheesy chicken enchilada dip, fried ice cream dessert bars, and so many more. For a limited time, purchase 2 family favorite cookbooks and get one for free. That's 3 cookbooks for $30. All proceeds will be split between the Northern Illinois Food Bank and Wreaths Across America. To learn more about NuMark's cookbook or for purchase, visit your nearest NuMark Credit Union location or give them a call at 815-729-3211, 815-729-3211. I got to tell you, I got one last year, and it's fantastic. I've used it numerous times this year. So there you go. I'm not only a radio announcer, I am a user of the NuMark Credit Union Family Cookbook. Debbie Reed is the CFO for NuMark Credit Union. She joins us this morning on the Turk Furniture studio line. Hi, Debbie.
Good morning, Scott.
Did you have any recipes put in that book last year?
I did put quite a few,
Wow.
some family favorites.
All right, well, what's the best one you put in there, one that had to go first?
Oh, the first one that comes to mind is, I think I called it Ellie's Lemon Bars.
Ellie's Lemon Bars, okay.
Yes, my mother makes fabulous lemon bars.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good. Well, we are very happy to have with us the treasurer of the great state of Illinois, Mike Frerichs, who also joins us on the Turk Furniture studio line. Mike, what would your donation be if that cookbook had one more page left? What would the Frerichs family want to add to NuMark Credit Union?
Oh, that's a different question. I thought you were going to ask what I would add, and I would think that no one would want anything that I make. But the Frerichs family, I have an aunt who just makes some wonderful chicken and noodles that have become a Thanksgiving staple.
Ooh, I'm picturing these big, giant, thick noodles, right?
You are picturing correctly.
I don't know anyone who makes those. We need to have an introduction made so I can get some of those because those are hard to find, at least good ones anyway. So, Mike, thanks for coming on today. Debbie, thank you very much for coming on. Before we get into this unclaimed property, Treasurer Frerichs, please tell everyone a little bit about yourself, if you will. I know you're Fighting Illini are ranked 5th in the nation. You're a Champaign guy, so you're probably happy about that, right?
Yeah, very excited. We were excited to follow the Illini back in 2005 when they made it to the national championship, but it has been a long, dry run since then. Very excited, hopeful they can get this season in without the virus shutting things down.
Yeah, no doubt about that. All right, well, tell us about your family and where you were born and raised and how you rose to the high position of treasurer of Illinois State.
Oh, your typical path. I was born in a small town of Gannett, Illinois, population 800. The northeast corner of Champaign County. Father's a truck driver. My mom's a secretary at the University of Illinois. I went away to school, spent a little time living abroad, but eventually Illinois brought me back. And it was family that did that. So I now live in Champaign, where I raised my 12-year-old daughter, Ella. I got involved in local government. I was the Champaign County auditor. I think that experience in government finance and then my time in the state Senate, understanding state government, had some people encouraged to look at the treasurer's office, and it was one of the best decisions I've made. I honestly believe I have one of the best jobs in state government.
Well, there you go. Well, good. And you have a great job today telling people about unclaimed property. What is considered unclaimed property?
Well, you're right. It's one of the best jobs because I get to play Santa Claus 365 days a year, giving away money to people. And what a great time to do that with holidays coming up. With people wanting to make someone else's holidays bright, wouldn't it be great if we could find some money for them? So unclaimed property is money that's being held by a bank or a corporation, some institution that belongs to Illinois citizens. It could be something like a forgotten checking account or savings account. Maybe you applied for a rebate or a refund that never got to you. You might have put a deposit with the power company and moved and never received that money back. There's any number of ways that a company holds on to money that you don't claim, but they don't get to keep it just because you didn't cash that check they mailed you, or that got lost in the mail, or you thought was junk mail and threw away. We fight on behalf of consumers to get that money and to get it back into the rightful owner's hands.
How much money and assets have been paid back to Illinois over the last 2 years to people in the state?
Well, over the last 2 years, we've given back over $200 million,
Wow.
but in the last 5 years, over $400 million. Over the last 5 years, we set a record and returned over $1 billion in my first 5 years in office. We did that because we went out and we made changes to technology, made sure that we more efficient, and worked with the General Assembly to change state law to streamline the unclaimed property process. And as a result, we've been able to return even more money to Illinois.
That's a lot of money. Debbie, let's bring you in here. Checking and savings accounts are among common types of unclaimed property. At what point does the credit union have to turn an account over to Mike Frerichs in the state of Illinois as unclaimed property?
Well, after 3 years, if we have accounts that have no activity whatsoever, we are required to turn that over to the state of Illinois. So that would be 3 years.
Okay, 3 years. No, that means no deposits, no withdrawals or anything?
Correct. No deposits, no withdrawals, and actually no communication with the credit union. We will send out letters to you, and if you send the letter back signed and say, yes, I want to keep this account open, I do exist, this is my account, we will keep that account open for you. So it's some type of activity. The easiest thing is to, just make a deposit.
Gotcha. Yeah, absolutely. Put in a nickel, right?
Correct.
Yeah, do something. Show us that you have a pulse, for crying out loud. Now, what do you do No, go ahead, Mike.
Can I add? If you have a couple different accounts, you can have one account inactive, but if you're putting money into another account, through automatic payroll deduction, you have your paycheck automatically deposited. Activity in one account qualifies for activity in all the accounts.
Okay, that makes sense, because I do have two accounts and one just sits there and does nothing, but then I have a mate. So there you go. I feel a little bit better now. Debbie, what do you do at NuMark to prevent accounts from becoming unclaimed property? Because you don't want that to happen to people.
No, we do not want that to happen. And we do provide member education on our website and in our newsletter. So usually around the time that we're getting ready to have to release funds, this is an annual thing where we release money to the state of Illinois. We usually have either, like I said, something in our newsletter, a blog on our website. And when that 3-year approaches with no activity on your account, as I just mentioned, we send letters to our members to notify them that they have to make a transaction on the account. We'll also call some members before the funds are turned over to unclaimed property.
Okay. All right. Well, State Treasurer Frerichs, let's get into Will County. We're a Will County radio station. The sign behind me says Will County's News Talk Sports. So let's talk about unclaimed property for Will County residents. Any stats?
So we have over $81 million for Will County residents. That's over 800,000 different properties, and about 13,000 of those are more than $1,000. So your listeners should go to our website today, illinoistreasurer.gov, see if we have something that belongs to them. We find about 1 in 4 people who visit our website find money, and the average amount last year was over $1,000. So well worth your time and effort.
That's crazy. Oh, average was over 1,000?
Yeah. Now, so there are some properties returned that are in the hundreds of thousands that bring that average up. Sure. There are some properties that are just a $25 rebate card that someone never received in the mail. But about 1 in 4, so your odds are a lot better of finding something on the Illinois Treasurer's webpage than they are in playing the state lottery.
I don't think the lottery department wants you to hear you say that.
Well, I don't run the state lottery department. My job is to give away money, and we do a pretty good job, as evidenced by the $1 billion we return, and we'd like to increase that number. We're still sitting on over $3 billion in unclaimed property that we'd like to get back, because I know when we put money into your listeners' hands, and they then in turn spend it at a local business or maybe a local restaurant that's been hurt by coronavirus, it does a lot more good for the Will County economy than it does sitting in a bank account in Springfield.
There you go. I agree wholeheartedly. We're talking today with Debbie Reed, NuMark Credit Union CFO, Mike Frerichs, the Illinois State Treasurer. Treasurer Frerichs, how can our listeners now log on and go to see if they have any unclaimed property?
Very easy. They go to the website illinoistreasure.gov. Illinois Treasure, one word, .gov. You can click on unclaimed property, or you can go directly to ICASH, the letter ICASH.illinoistreasurer.gov.
All right, now
we have a simple database. You just put your name in there.
And
you can just put your last name in and pull up everyone with the same last name as you.
There you go. You find out how many other Slocums there are out there. And if I do see my name, so I'm listed as having unclaimed property, what are my next steps?
Well, so it depends on what kind it is. If it's just you're the single owner and you're still alive, obviously if you're looking it up, you are. It's a very easy process. If it's under $2,000, we have something called Fast Track. I went to the General Assembly and asked for this authority. It allowed us to do a LexisNexis search to confirm that you lived at that address at one point. If that's the case, you can complete it all online. If it's over $2,000, you're going to need to mail in some documentation to prove you are who you say you are and you lived at that address. If you are claiming on behalf of a deceased relative, then we're going to need to have proof for probate courts that you are the legitimate heir. That could be a will, or it could be some sort of document from the probate courts. Depending on how complex it is, there are different answers.
Okay. How long does the property remain unclaimed? And if it just sits there for years and years and years, does it ever go anywhere else?
Well, we'll hold on to it in perpetuity. We'll hold on to it forever.
Oh.
So if you don't claim your money, your children or your grandchildren can claim 50, 70, 100 years from now. But for that money that is sitting there, if it sits there for a while, we will put it into our pension system where it can be invested and earn more money for the pension system. When you are ready to claim it, we will write that check to you or your legitimate heirs.
Okay, for the original amount, not for everything it's earned pension-wise or interest-wise, right?
Well, that's an interesting question because that has changed. In the past, that has been the case, but when the state was sued over this, reaching agreement, there will be some interest earnings as well.
Wow, okay, interesting.
But that is a new change.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's interesting considering it's, not that somebody did something terrible to have unclaimed property, but, they could have been proactive. So I get the argument, but there's some interesting information. I did not realize that. All right, speaking of interesting, what are some of the most interesting items that have been unclaimed?
Well, I would say when I first walked into that vault, I saw a Knights of Columbus sword. I found that interesting because the physical property comes in from safe deposit boxes.
Okay.
I was like, how big a safe deposit box do you need to hold a sword? I would say that some of the things that I find most interesting are military medals. I came into office and I saw a big display case with a lot of military medals. I asked about it and they said, well, these are all things that have come in from safe deposit boxes. To which I asked, who do they belong to? Oh, we'll look into it. We've been very active about trying to return military medals to our veterans.
That's good.
I have returned 7 Purple Hearts since entering office, and quite frankly, is the one of the most gratifying things that I get to do. And just about 3 years ago, I returned Purple Heart to a family member in Will County.
That's awesome. Very, very cool. Debbie, let's kind of circle back around to you at NuMark. What tips can you give to our listeners so their savings or checking accounts don't become unclaimed property and sent to Illinois?
Well, we actively recommend that you use your accounts and monitor the activity on your accounts. You can easily do that on our home banking platform, and we also recommend that you monitor your accounts for fraud. I mean, in the environment we're in today, it's a good idea to keep an eye on your money. And then, as we just talked about a minute ago, make a deposit, make a transaction on your account at least once a year. And that transaction could be, $1 or it could be 5 cents. We need to see some activity happen on your account so that we know you still exist and that you're using the account. But, the most important thing you can do is to, monitor your activity, whether it's on home banking or reviewing your bank statements, just to make sure that, you are checking what's happening with your money.
Good. Very, very good. And Debbie, before we let you go, too, I know we're back in Tier 3 as far as mitigation efforts. Are your facilities still open, the different branches still open? And if they are, I'm sure you're taking all the precautions just to put people at mind, their minds at ease, if you will?
Yes, our branches are open. We do encourage you to use the drive-through if it's a simple transaction, to just drop off a deposit or make a withdrawal. Our ATMs, of course, are open. Our branches are open, and we do have the plexiglass shield in front of our staff. People are, we definitely require people to wear masks. And, of course, please stay home if you do not feel well.
Yes.
Take all the precautions so that if you don't feel well, you do stay home.
And online banking is a great thing. If you have not signed up for the app, sign up for the app because NuMark's got a really good app. Treasurer Frerichs, closing thoughts, your website once again for unclaimed property.
If people can go to illinoistreasurer.gov and click on a link, or specifically to icash.illinoistreasurer.gov.
It's always
With the holidays coming up, this would be a great time to have a little extra spending money to make season bright for your loved ones.
Always a pleasure, sir. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Debbie, thank you very much. Take care. Have a happy holiday season.
Thank you.
Okay?
Happy holidays, everybody.
All right, Debbie Reed from NuMark and Mike Frerichs, the Illinois State Treasurer, right here on 1340 WJOL. All right, now I'm going to give you a chance to win $25 to spend a Visa gift card courtesy of NuMark Credit Union. How do you win? You be the first correct caller right now at 815-254-7300. Treasurer Frerichs moments ago mentioned how many Purple Hearts that he's found in lockboxes, safety deposit boxes, and had to return. He said one here in Wjol County. How many has he returned to people? 815-254-7300. Hi, good morning. You're on WJOL. Who's this?
Gloria.
Hi, Gloria. How many?
3.
3 is not right. Thank you very much, Gloria. We appreciate that. Hi, good morning. You're on WJOL. Who's this?
Tony.
Tony. How many Purple Hearts?
Was it 8, Scott?
It was, well, let's see here. 1 plus 7. It's not. You're off.
No.
Awesome. Sorry.
Got it.
We appreciate
Bye.
that. He was close. Hi, good morning. You're on WJOL. Who's this?
Hey, this is Joe, Scott.
Hey, Joe Scott. How are you?
Hey, I think I got the answer.
Well, he was close. What is
it lucky number 7?
It is lucky number 7. Nicely done,
All
Joe.
right.
Well done. Yeah, he said 7, including 1 in Wjol County. So I think that's where Tony probably got in.
I just turned on the station, too, and I caught that part. So
there you go, man.
It all worked out.
Pays to listen, doesn't it, buddy?
It does. Yes, it
certainly does. All right, hang on. I got to get some information from you. Don't go anywhere. Congratulations, Joe. And thank you, folks, for listening to another edition of Money Talks, brought to you by NuMark Credit Union. Don't forget, NuMark Credit Union's Family Favorites cookbooks will be here just in time for the holidays. Amazing recipes, 800 of them for a limited time. Purchase 2 family cookbooks, get 1 for free. That's 3 for $30. All proceeds will split between the Northern Illinois Food Bank and wreaths across America. Learn more. Stop at any of the branches or call 815-729-3211. This has been Money Talks, brought to you by NuMark Credit Union.